The first one, know your own work. Know your work in regards to what's in it. If you had help from somebody else, not a problem. Just make sure you can explain everything that's in your work. If you hired a tutor for research or for stats, nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you are able to intelligently answer everything in regards to your work in that oral defense. Nothing wrong with going through a mock oral defense with your dissertation chair. Some will do that for you. Or just make sure you understand the questions as I've relayed to them in this series, and you'll be fine. Number two, reflect that you are a consumer of research. Again, as I've been focusing on, and I do in all my lesson strategies, is that you are a researcher. You're not just doing an assignment in a class, you're doing a dissertation research study. It's an academic research study, and people are going to ask you questions about research. It's important for faculty to get a sense that you understand research, and not only the research method and design that you decide to apply. This is why in Chapter 1, you have the nature of the study, and why it's expanded upon in Chapter 3, where you're asked to support why did you pick your research method and design, and why did you not take something else and use that research method or design. We wanted to make sure that you had the ability to distinguish between different research methods and designs and what their purposes are. Ensure that you use the research context and terminology, and you will do fine. Just keep in mind as you get into your oral defense and you prepare for it, just say, I am a researcher, I am a researcher, I am a researcher, and you'll start acting more like a researcher. Speak like an academic. Don't speak in casual tone, trite sayings, slang. Don't get too comfortable with your faculty when you're presenting. Remember, you're an academic. You want to get a doctorate degree. Think of the people you know and admire the most who have doctorate degrees and have set great examples. Perhaps they're the deans of your program, or they're faculty you've had in your classes, or there are others who you've seen throughout your whole life who have set a great example of a scholar. Speak like an academic. Be confident in your voice. Help people to understand in your oral defense that you're ready to become one of them. Because in essence, that's what you're doing in your oral defense. You're telling your faculty that you're good enough to join that club. All you got to do is apply everything you've put into your dissertation and everything that you've learned to date and make that conversation and that oral defense something you're going to be proud of, as well as make your faculty members proud of you. Speak in higher order critical thinking. I've talked about this in a couple different lessons. I'm a big believer if you can't talk and think and communicate in higher order levels critical thinking, you miss something along the way. In your program, it was designed to help you learn more about how to synthesize great amounts of information, how to deduce it down and analyze, and then how to evaluate what it all means. That's higher order level critical thinking. Use Bloom's cognitive taxonomy verbs. If you need to, print out a copy of that. There's nothing wrong with it. Put it by your desk. Remember, you're going to have your desk or your office table set up like a cockpit with everything you need. Put those verbs so you can read them easily, and then start applying more of those words into your sentences during your oral defense. Number 5, practice and time preparation. Practice makes perfect. As I've indicated before, try to practice your presentation at least 3 times recorded and make sure that you're within the timelines allotted by your faculty. I tell my students 20 minutes for an oral defense presentation and 25 minutes for a dissertation oral defense. That's how long the presentation should be from the student who's getting ready to become doctoral credentialed. 20 minutes and 25 minutes. Get your presentations well developed and within those time frames, and you will be fine. Keep slides simple and the content and background. Remember, KISS. Keep it simple, student. Keep the slides easy to read, just like you see mine are. I do have a watermark behind mine, but that's because I have this as a product, and I want you to see my logo of taking the BOB ABD. But in a dissertation, you don't need a logo. Don't be putting all this cute little clip art or pictures on there. That's not what we want. Just keep it simple. We want to focus on the content of your presentation and what you have to tell us, not some little kooky slide there. It's in the background of somebody doing something or some other little quote or something like that. That will not serve you well. That's not used in an oral defense. Remember what you're here for. Number 7, go into it with a success mindset. If you don't believe you're going to be successful, well, you probably won't be. If you believe you're going to be successful, you will be. Think like a researcher, act like a doctoral prepared professional, and just realize, in case you haven't yet, that your faculty members look at you as an expert in your field of study. Yeah, you may not be an expert in research yet, but you're being guided through that. You'll be fine. But we look at you as a success. You completed a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctorate degree. Oh my gosh, you're successful. You're getting ready to enter the top 2% of the educated people in the world. What are you thinking if you're not thinking you're successful? That doesn't mean you got to be arrogant about it or be rude about it. It just means that you should give yourself some credit and have that success mindset reflect in your work, because that's going to be your tone and how it's received by your faculty members. Prepare your desk. As I mentioned, you might want to have the chapters laid out, some books there available, have something to drink next to you in case you need to take a sip of water or tea, and keep your desk in a way that you are going to be able to find anything and everything. And one last thing as a reminder, keep your committee phone numbers there handy in case somebody doesn't call in on time and you have to get hold of them with an email or a text. Nothing wrong with having to do that once in a while. Sometimes somebody just gets busy or they forget. They don't mean to do it purposely, but accidents happen, and sometimes people just forget something, right? Something could have came up, and you never know. But be prepared. Have the phone numbers there in case you need to make a quick call, or you need to give the phone number to your committee chair, and he or she makes a call on your behalf. Number 9, if you don't understand a question, ask for it to be repeated. Don't just get caught in a situation where you think you believe what they said, but you're not really sure, and then you answer the question wrong. That will be an awkward moment for you, and it could cause you to fail because somebody may think that you don't know what's in your work or you don't know what you're talking about. Every once in a while, a faculty member may ask a question in a way that doesn't make sense, or perhaps somebody has an accent or they have English as a second language. Nothing wrong with just simply asking, I didn't understand that question. Could you please repeat it, or could you rephrase it differently? Your faculty, one, will have an appreciation that you're humble enough to ask for help when you need it, and they will realize, you know what, maybe they didn't ask the question as clear as they could have otherwise, and they'll be happy to share it with you again. Number 10, answer the question and shut up. Just answer the question. Don't ramble on. Again, as I mentioned in the prior presentation, each answer should be about the equivalent of a paragraph. That means maybe 4, 5, 6 sentences at the most. If you can't complete it in that amount of time, in less than 90 seconds, then something's wrong. Either you didn't understand the question, or you're a little verbose and you're just going to go on and on and on. We don't want that to happen. Be professional. Think of it. If you were talking with a CEO of a company, they don't have a lot of time. They want to know what the answer is. They want to get the information from you, maybe have an exchange of information with you, and be on their way. Same thing in oral defense. You don't have all day. At the most, maybe it's 90 minutes or 2 hours time allotted. Most of them last about 60 minutes. So you don't have time to go into a lot of depth and just go on and on. I get it. You're going to be a little nervous. But the good thing is you listened to this entire lesson strategy. I've prepared you to be successful. There's no reason for you to be overly nervous, and just be aware to answer the questions. You can always answer the question, and when you stop, say, does that answer your question, or would you like me to elaborate a little bit more? That way, if your question was asked of you and you answered something that was too short, you've given the faculty member the opportunity to say, no, could you expand on that a little bit more? And you are protected that way. And make sure that you're answering your questions, but you're cognizant to make sure you're answering it to the degree or the extent that your faculty member or your dissertation committee members wanted you to. Number 11, expect questions to make you think. There's no way you're going to be able to prepare for every question that's going to be asked of you. Some of them I've given you, they're common, but everything's a situation in regards to what your study was about, the preferences of your faculty members or your committee members in your oral defense. Just be ready for questions that are going to make you think. And again, if you don't know the answer, what's the best response? I don't know. Can you tell me that question again, or can you put it into a different context? Then engage in the conversation. Let them lead you to where they want you to go. Most faculty will do that. Unless you just say, I don't know the answer to that. Some of them may say, well, you know the answer to that, fine, then you shouldn't be passing. It's easier to say, I don't understand the question. Could you help me to better understand the context or lead me in a direction where you think I should be focusing on, because I'm a little nervous. I've just written this dissertation. It's taken me 2 years and I need some other help. Don't worry about it, right? Don't get crazy on it, anybody. Just expect questions that are going to make you think, and don't worry about it. In most cases, it's not about whether it's going to be right or wrong. It's going to be those probing questions, those exploratory questions, and open-ended questions to make you think. And number 12, enjoy the experience. You've come a long way. You're an expert in your field. Somebody has already approved your work to be where you're at. In fact, many people have approved your work to be at an oral defense for your proposal, and even more for your dissertation. You've done the work. You've enjoyed the labors of your work. You've gained a lot of information. Your committee members are proud of you. Your family's proud of you. All you need to do now is have the oral defense and enjoy it and have a good old time. Believe me, from a faculty perspective, every time I join an oral defense, I'm expecting to learn something and have a great conversation. That's how you should go into it as well, thinking you're going to learn even more and be involved in a great conversation. Now, my frustration for this lesson is students who see this as a hurdle to get over. I think that's unfortunate. I've seen a lot of students that, I just want to get this oral defense done so I can graduate. It's like, hold on. You just did all this great work. Now this oral defense is a chance for you to have a great conversation with some quality people who are super educated like you are, and you just want to get it over with. I understand the frustration that you might want to be done with your program by the time you get to your dissertation oral defense, or even at your proposal. You just want to get it done so you can collect your data. But keep in mind, this is the last thing in the process for your dissertation. You pass this and you got all your courses done, you're going to graduate. So don't think of this as a hurdle. Think of this an opportunity to learn, engage, and share. Share with others. Give to people. Give to the committee members some knowledge that they don't know. Let them have the opportunity to enjoy the experience with you. I mean, think about it. Me as a dissertation chair, I'm with a student for over 2 years in most cases, from the very beginning to the time to get their dissertation done. And they want to get it done quickly. I mean, I want to have some fun here. I want to get involved in the conversation. I don't want it to take all day, but I want to be able to see what the student learned. I want to see if the student can teach me something. Please don't see this as just a hurdle to get over. See it as an opportunity for growth. And my quote for this lesson is, this is time to let your subject matter expertise be shown and appreciated. Your faculty members will appreciate you. Some of you students who listen to this program will not realize that some of your faculty members who have been on your dissertation committee will be connected with you forever. Still, on my committee, 2 out of 3 of them, one of them wrote a chapter in one of my books, and the other I'm still friends with and actually teach at the same university with now. So there's a huge opportunity here for you to develop some great personal relationships in a professional level with people who you admire, and they admire you. So enjoy this opportunity with your oral defense. Have a great time, and then celebrate when you're done. I appreciate it very much. If you found value in it, I just ask you to share the information. If you're at a point you don't have your oral defense coming up anytime soon and you need other help, let me know what that is. I want to give you guidance that I have and that I can share with you as well. And don't forget, your oral defense is a time of celebration.